Okay, everybody. It has been literally years. So, I'm Curtis. This is Yvonne and Drew. Yvonne and Drew are on the couch. Drew is on the right. I mean, I know you can tell that, right? But
well, maybe there does need to be some clarification. Who's Drew? Who's Yvonne?
that's you know.
Never know.
We all used to work together, and that's all you get. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean, we did.
We did.
In a previous life.
We did in an alternate universe.
Yes.
Which is actually what we're going to be talking about today.
Where our employer sucked the life force out of us. And people we know still work there after 20-something years.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, it's still open.
yeah. Although I see the building we used to work in is for sale.
It's always for sale, I think.
I know. Isn't that weird?
It's like they closed it, but then they put something else in it, I guess, in
I
the
don't
meantime.
know. Yeah.
But it's only a handful
I
of people.
just noticed that the other day.
Yeah. So anyway.
Strange. But I think that's why we look so good is because we got out of there.
No, it's for me. It's Photoshop. So
Filters and makeup.
I know how to edit in Photoshop. So if I take a picture of myself, I can.
Well, throw a filter over this way, please.
Okay. So here we go. We are.
For the curious, the skeptical, and those who know the world is stranger than it seems, we are the Huntsmen Podcast.
All right. We are back. Today we're actually talking about a couple different things that are somewhat related. So.
Yeah. I think this is incredibly exciting. So today we're diving into two mind-bending stories: secret government experiments, vanishing ships, and the possibility that we're all living in an alternate universe. Curtis, do you want to talk to us today about the Philadelphia experiment? I saw the movie back in the 80s. Loved it. Loved Michael Perrier. But there's a legend about the USS Eldridge and its disappearance in 1943. Talk to us about that, Curtis.
Yeah. So the legend is, or the theory is, that in 1943 the USS Eldridge, which was a destroyer built during World War II, had been built in the Philadelphia yards or somewhere close by, was running an experiment, and I think it was Einstein's. What was it? Einstein's. I can't remember what the actual experiment was, but basically the idea was to try to. During the war, they were always trying to work with camouflage and trying to make things harder to see. So I know that they would put ships on the horizon with bright lights, and actually, when you would look at it, when they turned their bright lights on, the ship would actually disappear on the horizon. But they wanted the ship's 1943 radar was just coming out. They wanted it to be invisible to radar, but not only invisible to radar, they wanted it to be invisible by the human eye. So this experiment allegedly was to make the ship physically disappear. So one day in the harbor in Philadelphia, they activated the experiment. They launched the ship with a skeleton crew. They turned on the generators to run the experiment. When they did, the ship disappeared for about 3 minutes. Purportedly, the ship reappeared in Norfolk, Virginia, sat there for a minute or two, and then came back to the Philadelphia harbor. When it rematerialized, the skeleton crew had, I guess, the crew members had melded into the steel. So parts of their body were in the steel bulkheads, the walls, things like that. Two of the crew members, they were brothers, apparently jumped off the side of the ship when the experiment started, so they didn't get melded in, but they actually time traveled forward a couple hundred years. So that's where the legend kind of starts off at. That was the actual Philadelphia experiment. That's where the movie came from, the lore of this experiment. So that being said, it didn't actually come out until 12 years after the fact. So in 1955, a gentleman wrote a book on UFOs. And in that book, it was Morris K. Jessup. And he wrote a book called The Case for the UFO. And the book mentioned nothing of the Philadelphia Project. But somebody turned into the Office of Naval Research an annotated version of this book. And in the annotations, it was like it was being talked about from three different perspectives, three different people. And they were thinking that they're maybe alien or some sort of, they were thinking they were alien because the spelling was weird. The capitalizations were weird. It was like they're having a conversation between themselves of how close this Morris Jessup got to the fundamentals of how UFOs work. And so the Office of Naval Research received this annotated version, and then they went to Jessup, and Jessup actually recognized the handwriting. But we can go into a little bit more detail about that. But in these annotations, it mentioned the Philadelphia Project or Philadelphia Experiment. So that's how the Philadelphia Experiment sort of came out, but it didn't come out until 12 years after the fact, till after it supposedly happened. So, yeah.
I mean, it sounds plausible to me that this is something that the government would tinker with, right? I mean, you think of all of the other, bizarre things that have come out about, with the government experiments. I mean, this sounds like something that that could have actually happened. I mean, did they talk about any type of psychological or, physical imparities that happened? I mean, you said there were two guys that survived. Is that right?
Two guys supposedly survived, and that's how it kind of ties in with the Montauk. That's the second thing we're going to talk about is the Montauk Project.
Oh, okay.
So Montauk Project was in Montauk, New York, and it was a radar base that was installed after the war, and basically it was an early notice radar system during the Cold War. If Russia decided to launch bombers, they were going to, be able to see them from a long distance. So very, very powerful radar was installed in Montauk, New York. And it was actually, the camp was actually Camp Hero. Everybody knew about it. It was there. So the two guys that supposedly jumped off the side of the ship were working at Montauk, New York, but they had repressed memories of the Philadelphia experiment. And basically in Montauk, they're messing around with a bunch of different things. One was time travel and going to different dimensions. And somehow they opened up a portal back to 1943 with the USS Eldridge. So, and then these guys.
That's whenever they were like, this triggered a memory.
Correct. Right. Yeah, I didn't mute my phone. Sorry about that. Or my watch. Sorry.
It's technology.
It's telling me to be mindful, and I don't want to be mindful. So, that being said, yeah. So, it's kind of weird because the USS Eldridge, if you look at the military records for the USS Eldridge, they say that it was never in, or it wasn't in Philadelphia in 1943.
Well, it wasn't in Philadelphia at that time frame,
right?
When they said when the experiment occurred,
and the guy that said that he was on a merchant marine vessel,
Carl Allen,
next to it, and he watched it disappear and watched it come back. Experts say that the USS Eldridge had degaussing. Is that right? Degaussing,
I think.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So basically, they're experimenting with making the ship invisible to magnetic mines. So when the ship, they would activate this stuff, and magnetic mines wouldn't be attracted to the hull. So they could go through a minefield and...
Mine, M-I-N-E.
Mine, yes.
Okay.
Now,
I feel like I should have brushed up on my war history with this.
well, you know, and I mean, there's we can get into the Enigma and, the coding system that the Germans used and, our attempts to crack it. And then with there were a number of really good movies that were made about it with some really fine actors. And mathematicians regarding cracking Enigma. One of the first computers was invented during that time to help crack the Enigma code, and of course there were a number of the actual machines was like a typewriter in a wooden box basically with rotors and ciphers on it, and they could change all these combinations of coding. And what they did is they go and type this thing in, which just looked like gibberish coming out, but it was an encoded message. And once the Allies were able to as another part of us winning the war in the Atlantic against the the Axis power Germany was to get those codes cracked.
Right, and we cracked the Japanese code, and that's how we shot down Yamamoto in the Pacific. But yeah, I know it's
we're getting sidetracked here. I apologize for that.
It's okay.
I was like, bring it back to the fun stuff, guys.
Yeah. One of the accounts were that the ship had a green glow about it when it disappeared and came back. Kind of a green glow fog around it. I don't know what would attribute to that. That could be like St. Elmo's fire. Ships would report, and that usually has to do with lightning that would cause a kind of a glow around the masts and things like that, the ship. Not a fog. It wouldn't be a fog. But, kind of going back to the original account, the guy that wrote the book, he wrote a book for Human Encounters, The Case for the UFO, and was written in 1955 by a guy named Morris K. Jessup. And the guy that, when the annotations went into the book, it was found out that there's a guy by the name of Carlos M. Allen, who was writing this author letters. And when apparently Carlos Allen sent the annotated version to the Office of Naval Research, and Jessup recognized Allen's handwriting as the guy who wrote the annotations in the side. So the Philadelphia experiment came really strictly from this Carl Allen. His full name is Carl Meredith Allen, but he was American. Mm-hmm. He also went by Carlos Miguel Eldridge, something like that. And then he spoke with a Spanish accent. So I'm not quite sure.
So let me make sure I'm keeping up here.
Yeah.
So Carl, AKA Carlos.
Yes.
So he was not on the ship.
That's correct.
Yeah. He witnessed this happen.
Yes.
Is that what we're saying?
He was supposedly on, what ship was it? What was it, Drew? Do you remember the name of the ship he was on?
No, I don't.
I'm so disappointed in you two that you do not have that fact.
Yeah, no, I have it written down somewhere in my scrawl here. I forget what the name of the ship. It was a merchant.
SS Andrew. It's spelled Furusseth.
Okay.
First said.
Okay. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
right.
so he was on that boat. So can we pause for a moment? Because I still want to. So we're saying that if this is to believed, which I believe it, Drew. I believe this happened.
Okay.
That everyone perished but two people. Is that right? Isn't that supposedly like there were two survivors? And has anyone ever talked to those two survivors?
Well, that's where it gets weird because they appear in Montauk.
Okay, so the two survivors appear in Montauk. Okay, so have we ever gotten from them like what happened to them? Like, did they go into the future? Did they go into the past? Like, what happened to them when that ship teleported? What happened to those guys?
So,
Oh, and wait,
yes.
How come they didn't die?
Because they jumped off the side of the ship as the experiment started to happen.
Okay, so they jumped off the ship.
And they were transported to the future.
Oh, to the future.
Yes.
Okay. Well, hopefully
And-
not 2020 because I'm going to be disappointed we didn't get a warning on that.
And so the others, poor slobs, were wearing a ship when they returned.
Right.
So it was a new necklace type of thing. That's where a steel ship, a porthole around your neck type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's see here. If I can, it gets confusing because these guys didn't remember they were on the ship until their memories came back at Montauk. But apparently they jumped the ship, they transported ahead 200 years. Somehow they found their way back. And then they prevented the leap forward from happening. I didn't give specifics as to why or how they prevented it from happening, but it did. And then years later, they were working at the Montauk or Cape Hope or Camp Hope.
So they jumped off the ship,
Yes.
but they still teleported.
Yes.
Yes.
So when the ship came back,
They didn't come back with it,
they did not come
No,
back with.
no, they
Oh,
did
okay,
not.
that's where I was getting confused.
but they came back later,
Okay.
years later.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow, from my understanding, they somehow said that they prevented the original leap forward in years from happening. But keep in mind, the only one saying that the Philadelphia experiment happened was this Carlos Allen. He's the only one that ever mentions it. And he mentions it 12 years later in these notes. Now, one thing they say that when they did this, that when it was sent to the Navy, the Navy actually made 100 copies, or 100 or so copies of this. And people always say, well, if it wasn't important, then why would the Navy make 100 copies?
Well, I think that's a good question.
Yeah, I think if somebody writes a crazy letter and you work for the government and you don't have email at the time, photocopies are free.
Actually, the photocopies aren't, but the paper's free.
Well, they work for the government, so they didn't cost them anything to make 100 copies of this. And they
So,
say, hey, look at this, buddy. Look at this.
So like to show like all of their friends, like, look at this crazy writing.
Yeah.
So instead of like forwarding to 10 people, you're saying they made 100 copies to share.
Yes.
And sent them to everyone.
Yeah. Now, the book was republished, I think, with the annotations in it at a later time. The guy that actually wrote the book, The Case for the UFO, when he wrote the book, he wrote it in 1955. He actually apparently committed suicide in 1959.
That's
and
convenient.
There is some suspicion as to why he committed suicide. They say he's committed suicide. Others say that maybe he was too close to UFO
We've heard this story
information.
before.
And that the government took him out. So there's some controversy around his death. Apparently, in real life, he was having some issues, some problems, financial and otherwise. And they say, or the government says, and so therefore it was a true suicide. He just ended his life. So unfortunately, so we can't actually talk to him. But
Wasn't he going to meet somebody and then he was like found in the car and died of carbon monoxide poisoning?
Yes.
Is that what it was?
yes, apparently he got very excited about something. He got a discovery or something came to light, and he was going to meet up with somebody and share this information with them, and then he died. Then he was dead.
Okay, so keep me grounded here. So this guy, who's the name of the guy that wrote the book?
The guy that wrote the book, The Case for the UFO, or for the Montauk or for the UFO?
For the Case for the UFO book.
Morris K. Jessup.
Jessup.
Okay, so Jessup wrote the book.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then
he started receiving letters from Carl Meredith Allen, or Carlos Miguel Allende, saying he witnessed the Philadelphia experiment.
Okay.
Allen was on the SS Andrew Furseth, and witnessed its appearance and reappearance. He talked about naval researching experiments with Einstein's field theory, and that had gone awry somehow. But Allen's memory was incomplete.
So why would someone start writing an author of an alien book about this?
The book was not successful. In 1955, I don't think people were really thinking about aliens at that time. Don't know. Maybe he just felt like writing a book about aliens and alien technology and how they might.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I'm talking about the Jessup. Why would he, like, if he witnessed this, which I think he did?
Well, Jessup didn't witness it.
Allen did.
Allen did.
Yes.
Okay.
It was just Allen wrote the notes in Jessup's, annotated in his book, mentioned the Philadelphia experiment. He also was writing Jessup letters in which he mentioned the Philadelphia experiment. But as far as anybody knows, the only one that witnessed it or told the story of it was this Allen. And then the two guys later who said they had repressed memories of it when they were in Montauk, New York.
Okay. I want to skip ahead to those guys.
Okay.
So now
can we go back to it? Because you asked the question about why did Jessup write the book about the UFOs, okay? And I'm just hypothesizing here, but we're only 8 years past Roswell from 1947. He wrote the book in 55. So there would be some, and we've gone back to, gateways and, portals being opened and, in the desert, Mojave and the Mojave Desert in California with Jack Parson and L. Ron Hubbard. But that's a story for another time.
That's going to be another episode.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too. And, it was still, people still seeing on, UFOs and I think that it would have been a really good time for him to, if he was going to, whether it was, regardless if it was fact or fiction, it would have been really a really ripe time, to go ahead and publish a book about that subject matter. I think that's probably why he did it. He saw something he could write about, and I think he took advantage. It was just probably a really good idea to write the book at the time. So
okay, yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So just one other thing, this Carl Allen admitted that it was a hoax later on, but then he recanted and said it wasn't a hoax.
See?
And then he said it was a hoax.
Oh, jeez.
And then he said it wasn't a hoax.
Imagine that.
But let's just jump back a little bit forward to Montauk.
Yeah, I want to talk about Montauk.
So Montauk, New York, was Camp Hero. It was an Air Force base. The television show Stranger Things was going to originally be called Montauk as an homage to the Montauk Project. Camp
That's
Hero.
cool.
But because of production issues, they could not do it in New York, so they had to kind of move the location
to
or
Indiana.
The story to Indiana. So that's when they called it Stranger Things. So Montauk, New York, was a radar installation. It was built in the 50s. I believe it was built in the 50s with a very, very large sensitive radar to detect Russians from coming over. And it was basically an early warning system.
It probably would have been part of like not the dual line, not the distant early warning system that they had set up between. There was a coordination between Canada and the United States. The dew line, which is what it was called, was not a semicircle, but a slope of radar installations north of the continental United States, including Alaska, into Canada, and that ran in past to Montauk, and it would be part of Area Defense Command, or ADCOM is what you want to call that then, from a historical perspective.
Right. Regardless, thank you. They built this radar. People complained because this high-powered radar, they said that it was giving them headaches. Locals were complaining that it was giving them headaches and things like that. Weird things were happening, they said, to them. But the radar installation stayed active until, I believe, 1981, when it was decommissioned.
Oh.
And hastily abandoned.
Right. Basically, they put chain links around it, and they wouldn't let anybody in it.
Right.
They wanted to, some people tried to go in and explore it, but they wouldn't let them.
Is that because it's actually upside down world? Is that why?
It could be. They said that there was a lot of underground facilities built into the base, to the camp, which honestly, I would be surprised if there wasn't. As an Air Force base, I would imagine they would have underground facilities. They want to bury stuff in case it gets bombed, so I would be very, very surprised if Air Force Base didn't have some sort of underground things. But in this underground facility, let's see, a guy by the name of...
You're talking about Preston Nichols?
Yes, Preston Nichols wrote a book called The Montauk Project.
Oh, well, there you go. That's simple.
He wrote it in 1992. He wrote it with a co-writer by the name of Peter Moon, aka Vince Barbaric.
All these aliases.
Yeah. Like that.
Nichols was an electrical engineer who worked with physics, and at the particular time, he traced some problems with people back to this radar station, but he couldn't get access to the radar station, so he just kind of let it go. Nichols finally got a tour with the caretaker of the facility after it had been decommissioned, and a man recognized Nichols and said he had been the boss. A guy by the name of Cameron Braylock?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. And so all of a sudden, after he had been reintroduced to this guy, all of a sudden, all this repressed memory started to resurface. And Nichols said basically he was living in two different realities, and found out that he was the project manager on the base and that they were running secret experiments. Yes. Financed by...
The government? The United States government?
No.
Who?
By Nazi gold.
Oh, my gosh.
$10 billion of Nazi gold, which was on a train into a tunnel in France. And the tunnel had been exploded and this gold had disappeared. And it actually was worth about $200 billion in current day currency. But this funded the experiments with the famous Montauk chair, basically trying to help people do mind reading, training a transmitter for enhancing abilities, transmitting across realities.
Is that the remote viewing?
Yeah, they were playing.
Is that where remote viewing came from?
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. But he was playing around with it. It was a laundry list of things that he was actually doing, and that was one of them. That he was in the parapsychology, and that kind of there's a close line between parapsychology and remote viewing. We'll get into that in our remote viewing episode that we're going to do.
And so this kind of goes into where Blaylock. Turns out that he, with his brother, were the ones that jumped off the ship in the Philadelphia Project.
Okay, so what year is this?
This would have been 1981, 1982.
So 1981, 82, okay.
And so between 1943 and 1983, wormholes had opened up. And the only ones who controlled them were apparently Nichols, because he was the supervisor.
Okay, wormholes had opened up.
Yeah, so they could open up wormholes and travel through these wormholes.
Oh.
And one has to deal with going to Mars. Now, Nichols said that they videotaped all this stuff, these people traveling in these wormholes. but he doesn't have access to the videotapes or
Of course
can't find the videotapes.
Of course not.
They traveled to Mars, the pyramids on Mars, the famous face on Mars.
Okay. Yeah.
Apparently, there was a colony living on Mars on the surface, and they're trying to get into the pyramids to access the alien technology
Right.
that was on Mars, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but apparently, to find people, and Drew, you can correct me on this, but they would bring in people, usually young people, orphans. Was it orphans and indigent? And
Like homeless kids.
troubled homeless youth.
Oh, there you go.
troubled youths.
Youths.
Youth.
There's a TH.
Young boys.
Yes.
Young men.
Then they would give them drugs and I don't know if torture.
Well, let's just say it wasn't very nice.
Yeah. So
Oh my
basically,
gosh.
they would break them down.
And so this is all happening in New York, the Montauk
In the Montauk.
Camp Hero.
Yeah.
That's what
Yes.
we're saying.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
And so as their abilities progressed, finally it came to a head, and they got tired of the abuse. So one person who was particularly talented or had
Powerful.
created some sort of being,
Like they
and
manifested this being.
manifested the being.
This creature, I believe, wasn't it?
Creature, yes, who went
Monster.
through and tore everything up, tore all the equipment up, and when he was done tearing everything up, he disappeared. He disappeared, and so that's when they called an end to the project. They cleared everything out
Hastily.
They debriefed everyone, brainwashed them,
Oh,
and
okay.
then poured concrete into the tunnel works.
So when you say brainwash them, are you saying like wipe their memory, like in Men in Black?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
So, but obviously it didn't work too well
Never does.
because all of a sudden their repressed memories had come out.
Okay.
And that's where that's where the story was. And then the Preston Nichols wrote the book in 1992, followed by 4 more books.
So about a decade later, their memories start coming back to them. Do we know what triggered their repressed memories?
From my understanding, when Nichols was walking around the base with the caretaker, he ran into somebody who recognized him as being the supervisor or one of the supervisors.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And that's when the repressed memories started coming out. And then also, this kind of goes back to Philadelphia Project. The 2 guys that worked at Montauk said that they were the brothers and they had repressed memories of the Philadelphia Project, that their memories had been jogged from the movie that came out. When was that movie came
In
out?
84.
It was in the
84.
It was early 80s.
Yes.
Michael
Yeah, it was-
Perrier
yeah,
was in it.
1984,
And I loved him.
I actually couldn't stand the movie. I hated that movie.
What?
I thought it was I couldn't stand the lead actor, the guy you like.
Michael Perrier. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was Eddie and the Cruisers.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I
Streets of Fire. Yeah.
I didn't dig it. No. Wasn't into it.
Okay.
Yeah, no accounting for taste, right?
No, I know exactly.
So anyway, so it brought their memories back of the Philadelphia experiment and all that good stuff. And then when the books came out, other subjects started to come forward saying that they remembered have been subjects at Montauk.
At Montauk. Okay.
And that was the House of Falling Cards for Preston Nichols at that point.
Right. Well, what were the accusations, Drew?
Yeah. Talk to us, Drew, about this.
Okay, this is gonna be this is gonna be dark, and if there's little ones around, they may not want to hear any of this because it's really it's rather disturbing. These young men were, and older boys. My understanding is they were molested, and that Preston Nichols was doing it.
So,
and as a result of that, these allegations really started to mount because of victims of torture and we'll just say we'll use the term torture, sexual abuse, if sexual assaults, if you want to use that term. Our subconscious gives us the ability to push these depending on what our age is. When the trauma occurs, to push this thing back into your subconscious, and because your subconscious protects you and it keeps this stuff from out in front. However, things throughout our normal lives can trigger these repressed memories, and then it will wind up coming out, and it did in this case. And Preston Nichols' book sales dropped off, and he lost his ass, and people quit returning his calls, and no one would publish any more of his stuff.
So part of it was when these people were coming forward with these repressed memories, trauma, PTSD, I guess. The theory, from my understanding, was he would put them through a detoxification, which involved them in being stripped down completely naked.
Mm-hmm.
And then now they were adults by this time, so they were over 18. So it's not like they were minorities or anything like that. They were older, but
minors.
They weren't minors anymore.
Right.
They were adults. Okay, so
Is this the thing with the bus with the electrical cable around it that he had?
no,
that he used?
This is I actually saw a video, and he would be like, putting stuff over them like a field.
So he causes the problems, but yet he's got the cure. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but it involved touching and things like that.
What a son of a bitch.
Yeah. So
we've got some, let's probably call them young adult men at this point, right? That's what you're saying.
Yes.
They're at least 18 at this point.
yes.
And so he's doing what? He's having them strip down
Yes.
and then
Lay on the floor.
Lay on the floor. Okay.
And then he detoxifies it and makes it so that they can survive with the repressed.
Yeah, but how
memories.
is he doing that? Is he doing it kind of like Reiki? Like,
Sort of like that, but then it gets into touching
okay.
and massaging.
Okay. See that look on your face?
Yeah, kind of icky stuff.
Well, it is gross.
Yeah,
this whole thing's gross.
Yeah, unfortunately they're being violated yet again.
Yeah.
But-
yeah, no matter what age. age.
Exactly.
And whether, when they read the book and then their repressed memories come out, or the book gives them repressed memories that they never actually had. That's the
Repressed memories can be really kind of tricky too, because they can be, which is why you got to really be careful with hypnosis, trying to pull those things out, because you might inadvertently create a repressed memory that was never there to start
Do you
with.
think he hypnotized them? You would think, if he was doing all this stuff, hypnotism is probably part of it.
Well, with his background, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
But his background was, wasn't he working with people with...
Well, he claims to have the degrees in psychology, parapsychology, and electrical engineering.
right.
Peter Venkman from the Ghostbusters had 2 of those 3 degrees.
Yeah. Wow.
The electrical engineering was that's how he got interested with the radar base, and people
Yeah.
saying that they're having chronic issues with the base.
If I can go on a little bit longer about him living 2 people or 2 lives, where he was working one day and he noticed he had a Band-Aid on his hand, and he didn't remember cutting him, so he removed it, and there was a laceration. So he went to the nurse and said, "How did I do this? Did you treat this?" And she said, "Yeah, Mr. So-and-so," and it was a totally different name. And he was working and went down was following someone at the base, and went into a secure area where he'd never been to before. And the security officer, recognized him and said, "Are you going to sign in, sir?" And he signed in and walked into down this corridor and walked into an office with his name on it, and it was really odd.
Yeah. So I don't know. Was he driving the same car in both realities?
I have no idea.
Because you could check the mileage.
There you go.
I don't know. Just throwing that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's.
What if there was a third car?
Well, if you had it illegally parked, I imagine you get some tickets. Who owes the tickets? The one.
Yeah, there's no parking tickets,
Okay.
and on the military base. I mean, come on, Curtis.
Well, one of the things they said when they actually get into some of the facilities that the base was theoretically closed in 1981, they said they found receipts for large food purchases into the 80s.
You mean past 81? Is that what you mean?
Past the time that the base had closed.
Oh.
But, I kind of think to myself, okay, you have a secret base. It's supposed to be closed. Would you really be buying all your food from GFS and having it delivered and having receipts floating around if no one's supposed to know?
I mean,
that
if
you're
you
there?
buy it, you're going to have a receipt. This is the 80s.
And how
you
many-
always get a receipt.
How many places take Nazi gold as currency?
Well,
See, and it's the U.S. government too. Now, the U.S. government is notorious for shady shit, right? So the MK Ultra CIA project, okay,
Right.
which was a real project.
it was real.
For 10 years, they played with psychedelic drugs,
LSD.
They did.
LSD, everything.
Everything. Remote viewing.
Yes, they that's a real thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
So is this so-
really a big leap?
right? Is this so far-fetched, Drew?
Oh, I'm not saying that it's not. I mean, anything's possible.
Yeah. I mean, when you get to things like manifesting a beast, if I could manifest anything, it would be like a Diet Coke, something like that, or beer,
If you could manifest anything, a Diet Coke,
Yeah.
a beer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I already got the Nazi gold. So, I mean, I don't need any more gold. So, if you're thirsty, you're thirsty, and you just have to get.
Well, we know you don't know how.
Regardless how much Nazi gold you have, if you're thirsty, you're thirsty. You want your Diet Coke,
I
you're
manifest a toilet made of gold.
Well, we know that you don't know how to convert it to use it.
That's true. Damn it. There's always a catch.
There is.
Well, there's the whole melting it down and putting it into bars. No one knows that it's Nazi gold anymore because the swastika stamp is gone. So,
Odd.
So you know what to do with it.
well, I watch Goldfinger. Who doesn't know what to do with it?
Well, odd fact is that we do have actually a couple $1 billion worth of Nazi gold sitting in a vault in New York City. But
that's not the National Reserve or the Federal Reserve, is it?
I don't know.
That's something separate.
it was gold that had been melted down from the fillings from
Oh,
the
geez.
concentration camps.
Okay.
yeah.
And so
Let's
it's
not go there.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Well,
it's-
that's as disturbing as the young men being touched in
Wow.
Yeah.
Montauk too.
I mean, nobody knows what to do with that gold. I mean, it's tainted. It's
right.
yeah,
So
you-
it just stays
it
there.
just
yeah.
sits there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Where it should be.
yep.
Yeah.
But yeah. So but I
Okay,
mean,
I want to get back to the monsters.
yeah. So but the thing is, the Montauk chair. Apparently, they could transmit across realities.
Okay.
Like I said, they claim that in the book, at least, that aliens from Sirius were the ones that helping out with the technology.
I
to do
knew
it.
the aliens had to be connected somehow with this.
Let's see. And it ripped a hole back to the Philadelphia Project.
What does that mean?
Yeah. So when they did, that's how the brothers got to the Montauk Project. But in a way, I don't know how it really deals with it because the brothers had aged. So
Well, time travel will aid you. I mean, if you're gonna jump universes and wormholes, right? I mean,
Yeah.
So
I think that's going to be rough on the DNA.
So somehow they opened up a wormhole back to 1943 where the USS Eldridge did this thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's only purported by Nichols and who wrote it in his books with his co-writer and the guy that originally, Carl Allen, who originally reported about the Philadelphia Project.
I mean, I think this is a fascinating topic. So I don't think, I would believe 100% of these stories. But don't you guys feel like there's a string in there of something that happened? Even the Philadelphia experiment.
Well, I think that in any lore or tale, there's always a factoid of truth.
Right.
So even if it's not to the extent that maybe we're talking about or they're talking about, I'm sure they did stuff that was weird.
Yeah.
And, I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, wouldn't you, if you're fighting World War II and you're, hundreds of thousands of men were dying, try to be finding a way to do something to mitigate your losses.
Yeah. Think outside of the box.
The Nazis were doing that with jet airplanes.
To save American lives.
Right. And that's what happened with Nagasaki and Hiroshima. If we were to invade the Japanese islands.
Oh, it would have cost 100,000 United States Marines.
They thought that we'd probably lose 1 million men.
Yeah.
By the time we did it. So you weigh 1 million men against, 2 nuclear bombs. And, the other option was we had all these bombers. The idea also floated around that they would just use, incendiaries.
Yeah, and just burn the whole thing. Yeah,
burn basically, and would have,
because the construction of the homes in Japan at the time were
paper.
Yeah,
paper walls. Yeah. So the biggest concern one general had was how much napalm could be made to facilitate that.
Mm-hmm.
The 15,000 bombers running 2 raids a day.
Yeah.
If they could make enough napalm.
Yeah.
For the bombing runs.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So if they could, if they'd run out of napalm.
Mm-hmm.
So with the Philadelphia experiment, so I could see that somebody would try to find a way, experiment. Can they take this ship from here and somehow get it to another part of the globe?
Or the whole idea originally was, according to the subject matter, was to make it hopefully invisible. I don't think they were even toying around with the idea.
So it wasn't trying to actually.
There was no teleportation attempt. I think that was in the subject matter. It was a byproduct of trying to make it invisible.
I see. Okay.
It was a benefit. So
yeah. Okay. I think it's fascinating.
I don't know. Let's see here. Hold on a second.
That's okay. Yeah, just read your notes.
Yes. It's a scroll, and I really should have typed them up because I'm like, okay, why did I spell it that way? But the guy that Alan said that the whole purpose was for teleportation.
Okay.
The whole point of the experiment, he said, was for teleportation.
Oh, okay. So I was right.
Mm-hmm.
I was right.
But again, that's just him.
Just that one guy.
Carlos Allen. He said that he actually studied under Einstein.
Of course.
Which I don't think he did.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, the guy with 2 names,
Yeah, well, he spoke Spanish with a Spanish accent. So I'm kind of like, okay. Yeah, you're from Philadelphia or from the United States and you're speaking a Spanish accent. It's probably because he has repressed memories of being called Meredith for a middle name. So he's probably having psychological issues because of that. He probably got bullied when he was a kid. Hey, Meredith. Don't call me that. I'm Carlos.
Mary.
Carlos, the merchant seaman.
Yeah. So anyway.
And here we are. We're bullying this man now.
Yes.
Bet your ass.
Yeah, but I mean, the Montauk chair, basically, the theory was that if they could get it to work, they could see targets through the eyes of other people.
Yeah.
Like remote viewing, hyperspace. But they found that being manifested, they would lose control and it was hard to use. So Anyway, there was a guy by the name of Serdlow. He claimed he was one of the boys. He came out and said he was one of the boys.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Preston Nichols said deprogramming.
Here it comes.
Yeah. Touching inappropriately, but they're all over 18. So, and he said it was necessary for them to heal. So, yeah. There's that.
I feel like I've heard this before.
Yeah. So, yep. Anyway.
Those healing hands.
Yes. There's some massage therapy places in town that apparently have those. So, yeah.
I'm not even going to touch that.
Well, I don't know,
Excuse me.
The facility I work for in town, we hear about that occasionally.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I think that this is just a great example of the boundaries of reality in human perception.
Well, I mean, it's also an human perception. The mind is a powerful thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
I'm not saying that you can't have repressed memories, but I think that when if you see a movie, like the one said that when he saw the movie that all these memories had come out. Well, maybe their minds are creating those memories, and it feels real to them, but it's not. They just need to be back on their medication, so to speak. But I don't know. I'm not saying that people don't have repressed memories. They do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it is a real thing. I'm not really digging the vibe on this, because usually the government has a hard time keeping things a secret. Usually if it's a lot of people involved, at some point, somewhere,
Somebody's going to say something.
somebody says something, because the old saying, loose lips sink ships, and they just can't keep it quiet.
I believe it. I believe something happened.
Bless your heart.
I'm
not saying that something didn't happen.
I'm not saying it happened exactly like that, but I think that something was done. There was some type of experiment, and yeah, maybe it morphed into the stories that are told today about it. That's why the movie was made. But I think something happened, and I do think that there were a lot of very bizarre experiments that were happening, especially back then, that were playing around with, mind-bending reality stuff. So
everything has a grain of truth.
Yeah, that's all I wanted you to say, that I'm right.
Speaking of the truth, what really happened?
Well, in the book that Nichols or Jessup wrote, was it Jessup?
Yeah, it was Jessup.
Yeah, Jessup wrote. He said that to the best of their knowledge, and I'm paraphrasing this, to the best of their knowledge, everything in this book is truthful, but you can also take it as fiction, science fiction as well.
Okay, so
that's what it was. That's how it was phrased. Essentially,
that was the
Essentially.
angle that he wrote it in, and then you can read it and believe it this way, or you can interpret it this way.
Yeah.
Right. So
Okay.
And he wrote 5 books,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes you just got to follow the money. So
5 books on this topic,
Yeah.
or 5
variations of the topic.
variations. Okay.
I can't remember the names of all the books.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, Drew will find it.
That's what I do.
Drew's gonna Google it.
No. Okay, The Case for the UFO, 1955 via Citadel Press, 1956 UFO in the Bible.
And the
Not-
Bible.
Well, that's not Jessup. That's
Yeah,
oh no,
but-
that's
yeah,
Jessup.
yeah,
I'm talking about
Are you talking about Nichols? Preston Nichols?
Nichols wrote 5 books.
Yes, he did.
He wrote what were they? Come on, Google man.
Duck, go.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I know. I should have known better. You're not using Google.
The duck is your friend.
What the duck?
Mm-hmm.
Is the duck slow? What's
No, I'm on Wiki right now. Hold on.
oh
It's Spectrum.
No, it's fine.
Probably getting the wheel of death right now.
Mhm.
I've got a gigabyte service too.
You really?
do you? Are you a gagillionaire?
I was going to get AT&T, but they're going to have to. They put fiber optic in our subdivision, believe it or not.
Did they?
But it's down at the end of my mailbox, which is like 600 feet away.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
Dang it.
Bastards.
Shoo.
And then the Spectrum charges me $175 a month. Getting totally sidetracked.
I was going to say, yeah, now we've transitioned to that. I'm going to complain about my bills.
No, we're
section.
just filling now because
Yeah.
of Slowpoke over there.
Okay. All right.
Okay, here we go.
All right. This is off of Amazon. Okay. The Montauk Project, Experiments in Time. That's book 1 of 5. It was a Montauk series, and then this has been re-released now, and that was the original book in 1992 that you mentioned. The Montauk Project, Experiments in Time, and that was a silver anniversary edition that came out May of 2021. Pyramids of Montauk. Explorations and Consciousness. That's where the remote viewing comes in.
Yes. They tried to remote view into a pyramid on Mars.
Yeah.
That was written in 95, and that's the only 2 that I see.
Okay. Well,
Montauk Revisited and Encounter in the Pallades, I believe, is another one. So you got those are the 5
Pallades.
Pallades, yeah.
Pallades, is that the alien race?
I think so, but there's a koala bear on the cover. I don't know.
I thought it was an exercise regiment.
Okay, that's Pilates.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Okay.
I mean, I'd pick the book up, if it's just, my
If
version.
it was about Pilates, you'd buy it?
Only if it had photographs of hot women doing Pilates.
Oh, jeez.
So, but yeah, I know, right? I'm a sorry sack.
Yeah.
So, but then Drew would make me share it with him. So,
Well, yeah.
Oh, my God.
All right, can we talk about the bad stuff? No, not the bad stuff, but the true stuff now about
I thought we did.
Yeah.
about the Eldridge.
yeah, go ahead.
It was never in Philadelphia during the time in question.
Yeah, it was built in 1943.
Right. I mean, in it from a historical shipbuilding perspective, they laid the keel like in February, and in towards August is when it was going through sea trials or whatever they did back then.
Yeah, and then it spent its time in the Mediterranean.
Yeah,
And I think that at the end of the war, it was sold to Greece,
I believe so. Yeah,
and then
they
Greece,
renamed it the Leon, I believe.
and then it stayed in service until like 1998 or 99,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was scrapped.
Yeah, the
If it was like really, would you really scrap a vessel that transported itself somewhere?
no,
I don't know.
no, there might be some bad juju with the metal. Who knows?
Yeah.
So anyway,
I mean, how'd you get the guys out?
Well, yeah, that's what I was
yeah.
curious. What did they do with that?
Were they screaming? And if which you said Greece bought it?
I believe so.
Okay, whatever nation bought it would be. I wonder if they had it blessed by a priest and a rabbi and a witch doctor, to in case there were like screaming voices of Americans still held in steel.
Yeah, the thing is that the whole thing about holding somebody in steel like they become part of the ship.
Yeah.
The plating's only half-inch thick
Mm-hmm.
for deck plates and quarter-inch thick deck plates.
Well, yeah.
So
So oxyacetylene torch would have taken care of that. Would have made quick work of that to get the men out. you
yeah.
know?
So I mean, it's not like you're like being transported into a solid block of steel.
Right. Naval records, which were on Microfiche, show that the Eldridge was not in Philadelphia during, I think, August through October of 1943, and also the brothers never served on the Eldridge as well. There's no record of that.
Well, that's because they went back in time. You're forgetting that. They went back into time and they fixed all of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing out the obvious.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't have fixed it for all the back pay. I mean, come on. Go 200 years forward? 200 years of back pay?
Yeah, that would definitely ring the bell.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead, Drew.
Yeah. So there was no record, and they, according to my reality, right, this reality,
On this timeline.
yeah, on this timeline. And remember, this is going to be like an MCU thing when we're finished, But anyway, and that is, there is no.
It's Drew's final thought on this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the brothers never, there was no record of them on the ship, and the ship was never in Philadelphia during the time in question.
There's even a question if that ship, the merchant marine ship, was in the harbor at the same time.
That's something good that we should maybe look into.
Yeah. I don't know if it was there either.
Because
he said he served on.
Yeah. And why even bring it up 12 years later?
Right. So it's just a good story.
Yeah.
Because he had the courage to then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's say that it really happened. I mean, you really just going to immediately go out and be like, I'm going to write a book about this. No.
Yeah,
but you got to put some space between this. No pun intended.
Well, but he maybe was the only guy on deck that saw the ship disappear. I mean, Philadelphia Harbor is kind of a big place, isn't it?
Yeah, but to show up in Norfolk, though, the Atlantic Fleet, hi, we're here.
And then we're not.
Green fog.
Yeah. So.
Well, they would have done it like, at night when everybody else was going to be asleep. I mean, you got to time this stuff.
Well, actually, they allegedly did the experiment twice.
See?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Allegedly.
Okay.
A couple times.
Why would you do it in the middle of the harbor? Why wouldn't you go out where nobody could see it?
And apparently they were using onboard generators, and it wasn't like plugged into the Philadelphia power grid.
Right, that's when they activated the generators at
Right.
the field.
Which I mean, I can't even imagine the amount of energy that would be required to even generate that type of field. I don't even know if the ship would be capable, let alone not plugging it into a power grid. I mean, hell, Steve Rogers was made Captain America, and they had to plug into the New York power grid to do it.
Right, guys. Right.
Well, maybe they had Captain Efficiency on board.
Possibly.
I don't think Einstein had time travel involved.
No.
When he was, he's talking about field theory and all that good stuff. So, so there's a lot of things. It's kind of a cool
so
story.
many things.
But it's really, you're only getting it from a couple people. It's not like it's coming from a bunch of different people that see it.
I think there's a lot to look into for Montauk, though. I really do.
Yeah.
There's just all kinds of evil shit that excuse my language, that happened at that place under the guise of this, sit in the chair, young man kind of thing.
Yeah.
They did some radar technology, where they found structures under the ground.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't see exactly what they were. And that's the whole thing until you actually get down there.
Right. Yeah. And
it's a public park now, but I guess the radar facility is still fenced off.
Yeah.
Because the radar is still there.
Yes.
We should take a field trip. That's what we should do.
Yeah. I'm going to take a shovel. Just start digging. Get a little pick and an X.
Yeah. And the X does not necessarily mark the spot, right?
Yeah. Let's dig over here. It's like one of the things that's kind of interested me, with radar technology is that new pyramid where they scanned underneath the pyramids, supposedly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's the same technology. Well, that's a new technology, but ground penetrating radar is what they've used to see. And like I said earlier, I'd be very, 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 very surprised if an Air Force base or any kind of base facility like that did not have underground structures. So I would think that you would almost always have some sort of underground structure.
Agreed.
So
even
if you go to Hawaii, like Diamond Head, you can walk through Diamond Head is riddled with tunnels and things like that because they had 16-inch guns in the mountain.
Oh,
yeah. So if an invasion was coming, they could fire the 16-inch guns that were in the hillside. They didn't do it too often because when they fired it, it broke all the glassware in China and Waikiki, all the restaurants and things like that. Because it would just rattle everything.
There's a bunch of ships coming where we're about to break your China. Hold on to it.
Yep. Hold on to brace yourself, Effie. It's coming. So, yeah.
All right.
Well,
sounds good. Welcome me back.
Yeah. What's our next episode going to be about?
I don't know. It's a mystery.
It's a mystery. Oh, a mystery that needs to be solved.
Or discussed further, such as missing 411.
Oh, I've got that too. I've got notes on that too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a bunch of BS, but that's just me.
You've been listening to the Lore Lodge and
No. I just been doing some research on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Didn't we talk about 411?
Yeah.
Before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did originally. Yeah.
So some like new.
Well, it's like anything else, and I think we'll save it for the next episode. But
okay,
no, I'm not going to say anything to spoil it.
Okay, all right. So, Curtis, what should our audience do? Like us?
Well, they should subscribe and like us. If you're watching on YouTube, this podcast is also available on audio. All your major Apple Podcasts. It's all in the major outlets, so you should be able to pick it up audio version. If you want to see us in live, pick us up on YouTube. On YouTube or on audio, you should be able to send us a text message if you'd like to ask us a question or you have an idea for something that we could talk about.
Or you can email us. Or you can email us at huntsmanpodcast@gmail.com.
There you go. So if you're listening to audio, you can send us a text or you can email us.
Why should they email us? Give us some feedback, give us topics.
If they want to ask us anything, if they want to discuss this, they can do that too.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Very nice.
All right. Until next time, we shall talk to you later.
Take care, guys.
For the curious, the skeptical, and those who know the world is stranger than it seems, we are the Huntsmen Podcast.